everybody, so today we're here to talk about a kind of newer book. I had actually forgot, I had pre-ordered it. I thought it come out in October. It actually come out September, September 6th, I think. And I had forgotten until I got my notification on my email telling me it had been delivered to my Kindle. So I was on a Cassandra Clare binge, and I threw that out the window to read this one. I read When Villains Rise by Rebecca Schaeffer. Let me turn off the light there for a minute. Which has an awesome cover. I love the fingerprint on the blade, because it's literally switchblade and a scalpel, which is Covet. I'm probably really butchering his name. Nina, which again, and I was very surprised with this book. Usually the third one in a trilogy is kind of where they're tying loose ends and things, and this one took a lot of turns that I really didn't expect. It had less violence in it than Only Ashes Remain, and I'm kind of starting to get the justice of the three names, I guess is the right word, of what each one means. And I'm trying to do this really hard without spoilers, because this is a new book and it's really good, and I don't want to discourage anybody from reading it. The only thing I can think to talk about this book is it is Dexter meets Supernatural meets Criminal Minds meets... No, not Lucifer. Dexter meets Criminal Minds meets Supernatural. I really, really like it. I read Not Even Bone in like a day, and then I had to go find Ashes Remain. I actually bought it on my Kindle, which was like maybe the second or third book I had ever bought for my Kindle. I did get into it because of the webtoon, I'm not gonna lie. I really love the webtoon. I haven't finished the webtoon because I got into the book and blah blah blah. But When Villains Rise, if you have read the first two books, you have to read this one. It gives you so much... It gives you closure, but at the same time it does not. That's what I like about this book. I love that the characters are not your typical teenage love story where boy meets girl and girl falls in love with boy and blah blah blah. They actually fought and hated each other and are evil and are partners, and then slowly ebb into whatever they are. Because it's not a love relationship, it's a extremely deep friendship, because I think through the whole series they kiss like maybe 4 times, maybe 5, and none of them are openly romantically kisses. They're more there are no words. This is one book I would give it 4.5 stars, really. I would. There's not that many plot holes I found. I haven't done a full reread because, like I said, I was in the middle of a Cassandra Clare binge, and I stopped it for this book, which should tell you something, because I'm a major Cassandra Clare fan. Despite not reading any of her books this year, that's because I'd actually already read most of them and were trying to read new books. But since I was so close to my goal this year, I decided to read a Cassandra Clare book. And I stopped that for this one, which is major. When Villains Rise by Rebecca Schaeffer. Highly recommend it. Love it. I wish I had more fan art. I wish this book... It's one of those books you kind of get mad at because there is not a huge fandom. I mean, there is a fandom. It's out there. but it's not as huge as you'd think it would be. Honestly, this one, I believe, should have just as big a fandom as, say, A Court of Thorn and Roses, or The Darkest Powers by Kelly Armstrong. This is like, I've never read another book like this. There is no other reference point. This trilogy, Not Even Bone, Only Ashes Remain, and When Villains Rise by Rebecca Schaeffer, there is no other book out there like it. I have read Dexter. It's not like Dexter. I have read The Darkest Powers. It's not like Darkest Powers. I have read a couple of the Supernatural books. They're not like Supernatural. There is no other book written like this book. Not a one. I almost feel like it's a weird Rapunzel retelling, which I feel like the author's probably maybe one day gonna watch this, or probably never gonna watch this, and be like, Rapunzel retelling, because the mother is trying to keep the daughter captive, and she's willing to go to any lengths to do it. And I don't know, my brain works weird, but there is no other book like this. If you read it, you will understand it. I do recommend reading them in order, otherwise you're just going to be lost. These are not standalone trilogies. This is very much a trilogy you need to have and binge watch. I broke one of my 10 rules I have for books to read this series, because usually I don't like to read. I'm a book reader. I'm a book reviewer that usually does not like to get into a series mid-publication, because I have to know what's going on. I don't like to wait. I dropped my Kindle. I prefer to know that they're all out there. I can go to the library or buy them on my Kindle, and they are right there. This series, I had to wait for this one to come out. That's how I love this series. I hope maybe we'll get like a spin-off series, or like other books have done, where you kind of get to see a little bit of the after, a little bit in the before, maybe from another character's preview. I would like to see some of the book from Kovit's preview. I know I'm butchering his name. I'm trying. I have not listened to the audiobook yet. I'm not sure on pronunciations. But I really love the book. I really love the series. I love the author's writing style. There's really nothing bad I can think to say about this book series. I mean, the characters are evil, kind of, but they accept they're evil. They're not bad evil. It's really hard to explain without reading the series. You just have to read it to know what I mean, that they're not bad evil, they're good evil. But they're not good evil, there's no such thing as good evil, but okay, you'll just have to read it to come up with your own description of them. Because they're anti-heroes. I think that describes them. I can see them kind of being like Deadpool. Pretty sure Nita could regrow an arm if needed. So, anti-heroes. She's an anti-hero. That's our word for the day. Anti-hero. So, if you read a book this month in September, I would read this whole series again in October. I'm really thinking about doing it for Halloween. It's just reading all 3 books. I'd have to start like the week before Halloween though, because I binge read. But When Villains Rise by Rebecca Schaeffer. Highly recommend it. Love the cover. Especially since I just realized that that's a switchblade and a scalpel together. I love the characters, which I didn't think I would at the beginning, because they're very confusing. I mean, at the beginning of the trilogy, I'm kind of doing all three of the reviews together. I really love this book. You know, I'm upping it to 5 stars. I don't care. I love it. I couldn't find anything to critique. I probably could if I tried, other than I probably really could, but I just really, the dog's getting ready to jump off the bed. I really, really loved this series, and I highly recommend it, and it's just awesome. As always remember you matter. I love y'all.